In the grand theater of global geopolitics, some nations are merely actors, while others find themselves becoming the stage itself. The Philippines, an archipelago of over 7,000 islands, has emerged as precisely that stage. It is a place where the ambitions of the 21st century's two greatest powers converge and often collide. This is not a role the Philippines necessarily chose, but one that geography and history have thrust upon it. The nation sits at a critical crossroads, a linchpin in the increasingly contested Indo-Pacific region. Geography is often the silent author of history, and nowhere is this more true than in the case of the Philippines. Look at a map. The archipelago forms a crucial barrier between the Pacific Ocean and the South China Sea. It sits astride some of the world's most vital sea lanes through which trillions of dollars in global trade pass every year. Any power that seeks to control or influence maritime movement in this region must, in some way, account for the Philippines. During World War II, General Douglas MacArthur described the country as an unsinkable aircraft carrier. The Philippines is a key component of what military strategists call the First Island Chain, a series of archipelagos stretching from Japan to Taiwan to the Philippines and down to Borneo. That chain effectively contains the Chinese mainland from the open Pacific. For the US and its allies, maintaining a friendly Philippines is critical. Its location makes it indispensable for surveillance, logistics, and potential operations in crises ranging from the South China Sea to the Taiwan Strait. Therefore, the very islands that make up the Philippines are pieces on a grand geopolitical chessboard. The relationship between the United States and the Philippines is one of the most complex and enduring in modern history, forged through colonialism, war, and a shared democratic tradition. It began with the Spanish-American War and the 1898 Treaty of Paris, which saw the U.S. replace Spain as the colonial power. American systems of education, law, and governance left a lasting imprint on the nation's institutions. The crucible of World War II solidified this bond. American and Filipino soldiers fought side by side. After the war, the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty formalized the alliance, a cornerstone of U.S. security policy in the Pacific. Clark Air Base in Subic Bay made the Philippines a hub for American power until their closure amid a rise in Filipino nationalism. Despite the closures, the alliance has proved resilient, reinvigorated in recent years via joint exercises like Balikatan and the 2014 EDCA for rotational access. Rotational access allows the prepositioning of assets, joint training, and improved interoperability, invaluable to Washington. But tensions remain. Many in the Philippines view American influence through a lens of neo-colonialism, and leaders sometimes distance themselves from Washington. Still, deep historical connections, military cooperation, and people-to-people ties ensure the U.S. remains an indispensable partner for Manila. China's interest in the Philippines is newer, more pragmatic, driven by a powerful mix of strategic and economic imperatives. For Beijing, the Philippines is a strategic prize. Geography makes it a critical gateway that could dismantle the southern flank of the First Island Chain. A friendly Philippines would grant Chinese naval and air power unfettered access to the Pacific, fundamentally altering the balance overnight. Securing vital trade and energy routes through the South China Sea is central to Beijing's national rejuvenation. Beijing's sweeping 9-dash line overlaps the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, creating confrontation over fishing, oil, and gas. Tense confrontations at sea, Coast Guard maneuvers, and maritime militia are used to gain de facto control over resources while avoiding open war. China aims to weaken legal challenges and push the U.S. out of its perceived sphere of influence, even when international tribunals rule against it. China's courtship is transactional. Loans, ports, railways, telecoms, checkbook diplomacy that embeds economic dependence and political influence. By funding projects and cultivating business leaders and politicians, China seeks to shift Manila's strategic calculus, sometimes at the expense of maritime rights. The competition in the Philippines is a classic study in contrasting power dynamics, soft power versus hard cash. The United States leverages deep cultural, educational, and people-to-people ties, English as an official language, Hollywood, sports, and millions with family in America. Militarily, the U.S. offers treaty-backed security, joint exercises, advanced hardware, training, and intelligence sharing, presenting itself as a protector of Philippine sovereignty. China leads with a transactional model. infrastructure, trade deals, FDI, and rapid delivery that appeal to leaders focused on development. China's military engagement is cautious. Its primary coercion tool is Coast Guard presence. Culturally, it lags, but invests in Confucius Institutes, scholarships, and media. The Philippines faces two paths: the security-oriented U.S. alliance or the lucrative development-focused but strategically risky relationship with China. That choice will shape the country's economy, sovereignty, and place in the regional order. The South China Sea is the boiling heart of the U.S.-China-Philippines triangle. Here, abstract geopolitics becomes a dangerous, tangible reality. Container ships and naval traffic mingle in contested waters. For Filipino coastal communities, this is not distant. It threatens sovereignty and livelihoods. China's 9-dash line claims vast swaths. Under UNCLOS, much of that falls within the Philippines' 200 nautical mile EEZ. These waters hold fish, oil, and natural gas, resources vital to the Philippines' future prosperity. The conflict is about more than rocks. It's a nation's right to resources and maritime space. Philippine resupply missions and fishing boats face aggressive maneuvers, water cannon, close-quarters intimidation, a form of gray zone warfare. In 2016, the Permanent Court of Arbitration ruled for the Philippines. China rejected the ruling and continued operations regardless. These incidents are calibrated to avoid triggering the U.S.-Philippine Mutual Defense Treaty, while the U.S. presses freedom of navigation with regular naval transits. Manila's central dilemma: defend maritime rights without being dragged into a superpower clash, a question that shapes every decision at sea and in diplomacy. While warships patrol, a second, quieter battle is fought in boardrooms and construction sites. China offers loans, ports, rail, bridges, and telecoms, tangible projects that transform cities fast. Bridges, railways, ports, and dams, visible progress that can win hearts and votes. The US, Japan, and multilateral institutions offer a different model. Slower, conditional, but aimed at transparency, environmental standards, and sustainability. Speed and scale versus standards and sustainability. Filipino policymakers must weigh immediate needs against long-term risks. Critics warn of opaque loan terms and unsustainable debt that could lead to strategic concessions, control of ports or other infrastructure. In response, the US and G7 launched alternatives like the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment to offer transparent options. This competition lets Manila negotiate better terms and select from multiple suitors, turning influence into leverage. Every new investment is also a geopolitical statement, pulling the Philippines closer to one partner or another. Faced with competing pressures, the Philippines must perform a delicate balancing act. It is a strategic tightrope walk, where a tilt too far in one direction could have severe consequences. Different administrations have taken markedly different postures. Duterte pivoted toward China. Marcos Jr. has moved to reaffirm and expand ties with the United States. Defense officials tend to favor the U.S. alliance. Business and economic planners often urge pragmatic ties with China. Public opinion swings after maritime incidents. Hedging, engaging both sides to maximize benefits while minimizing risks, is the practical strategy for a multipolar world. It requires diplomatic skill. Use U.S. security to strengthen negotiation with China and use Chinese investment to spur development, without being a pawn. The Philippines stands at one of the most critical junctures in its history. Its choices will send shockwaves through the Indo-Pacific and beyond. It is the fulcrum of regional balance. A Philippines aligned closely with the United States reinforces the American-led security order and strengthens the rule of law at sea. A pivot to China or strict neutrality would be a strategic victory for Beijing, fracturing the first island chain and accelerating a Sino-centric regional order. The world watches Manila's moves closely. This is not a local dispute but a global inflection point. The future is unwritten. The Philippines can be a sovereign partner, not a subordinate. Its success depends on wise leaders and resilient institutions. Its choices will echo across the international system. Whether the 21st century is ruled by a rules-based order or carved into spheres of influence may be decided here, in this archipelago at the center of the world.